Hey, it's a miracle. 2 lives in a row, 2 days in a row, right? Again, just caveat, I haven't forgotten about the channel. I'm not being deliberately negligent or whatever. It's just I'm dealing with all kinds of crappity. Um, and, you know, yes, the piece of shit from yesterday is still being a gigantic piece of shit. So I call him this morning. He says, "Oh, I was just writing those numbers. Give me 10 minutes." I call him back in 25 minutes. He said, he's asked, "What are you doing? I told you to wait. I said, call me back in 10 minutes. What's up?" What's up, Goondog? And he's like, "I told you to call me back in 10 minutes. I said, it's been 20. It had actually been 25. Then I call him back in exactly an hour from my first call. Ignores my call. Text him, "Hey, waiting to hear from response." Just fucking blew me off again. Guy is such a gigantic piece of shit. Hey, Sassafras, you made it. I got to catch up on some of your videos, Sassafras, especially the BattleBox ones. So let me tell you, look at how beat up. This is FedEx for you. They're giving whatchamacallit. They're giving the U.S. Post Office a run for their money. I mean, it's proper crushed. Look, it's proper crushed. They wanted to pancake it. Did you want some pancake with your folks? So, oh, look at, oh, we wanted to open it a little. Let's see. Oh, it's open. It's already bloody open. Oh, look at that. Oh my God. Oh, it's bloody good. Look. It's proper fucked. It's a proper fucked box, yeah. Look at that. Look at it. It's 3-dimensional. So, okay, yeah. Oh, cool. Okay, so meh, but yeah. And now I want to call it Alderon, but it's not. It's Tatooine. Oh, Alderon is Earth, is Star Wars version of Earth. Jesus, where's that from? What's what from? This SMKW? Or proper fucked. That's how the Brits talk, yeah. Yep. Oh, this one's saying it's 2.5 inches. That's odd. Because I thought is that me? Okay, I thought it was 2 inches. Let's see. Okay, let's go here. Okay. For the Victorinox. Victorinox.
Beleza esperta, você me deixa rua deserta, quando atravessa.
Oh, good Lord. This is not showing up that quickly. Surprise. There it is. Oh, wavy edge. Okay, that's not the one. What the hell? Oh my God. What is it? There it is. Okay. Oh, they're calling it a shaping knife. Pardon me. I very much I fucked that name up. Oh my God. Yeah. So they're calling it the Victorinox 2-inch shaping knife. Okay. It says 2-inch. That's strange. Okay. Yeah, it's definitely saying 2 inches. So I don't know. I don't get it. I don't understand. Strange. Where are they calling it all that? Okay. Yeah. Well, there you go. There you go. They're calling it the shaping. I don't know why I called it a bird's beak. I must have seen that for some other description. Oh my God. All right. Let's see if they sent the proper one. Okay. Wow, that box got proper folk, didn't it? It's very three-dimensional. Right. So, yeah. What's it say here? Swiss made. That's got to be 2 inches. Yeah, that's got to be 2 inches. They're wrong. It's not 2 inches. So the receipt says 2.5 inches. Parer. Yeah, so they're not even calling it the so-called shaping knife. So their inventory is off. And let's see. It's 2 inches. It's definitely not 2.5. So there you go. It's 2.5 inches. I don't know if you can see that. Now, the way, yeah. So, oh, bloody hell. Okay. So it looks like there's a little tab here. I don't know. Can you see that? So it's got this little tab here. Oh my God. It's like a sticker. Oh, that's quite nice. Okay, so there it is. So what's interesting about this is, so remember originally I got, first of all, pink knife, and this is the 3-inch. Let's see if it's 3 inches. It's more like 3.5, isn't it? Yeah, it's like 3.25. It's like 3.25. Okay. But anyway, it's around 3 inches. So obviously this has its kind of utility. Again, self-defense knife. I think edge out. I think he wants you to notch there. And I did forget to check. I don't have no time. I'm going to leave after this. But he talks about using one of these, what do you call these knives again? Hawkbill, right? Because again, for catching, slashing. So for us, okay, I'm sorry. Holy crap, it's probably fuck. Jesus, where's that from? That's what she said. I know, 2 inches. Okay, what's this here? Yeah, we are changing some of the boxes that we are doing. I'm hoping we'll have a regular go. Oh, yeah, sassafras. The only going gear I regularly see is Birdshot IV or Birdshot 4. As far as I can tell, going gear beats the crap out of, thus far, all the monthly subscription boxes. Certainly Battle Box, which may or may not be saying much. I'll be honest, for the most part, I've liked mine. And I'd say it's about 50-50 or a little better, like 60-40 that I like out of the general unboxings. As you guys know, what's his name? Doc P famously just goes on rants, which are hilarious and deservedly so. It's his opinion, and I think it's a primarily justifiable opinion. I'm just sort of a gear junkie. I kind of like most of the stuff. It all seems kind of fun to me. What's that? That blade chip is good for foraging. Oh yeah. So yeah, it is definitely based on the like a, what do you call that? A scythe? A scythe? I don't know the difference. There's like scythe, and then there's like whatever that thing. And so that is definitely so. They're calling this a shaping knife. I think what they're primarily selling it for is peeling, fruit peeling and vegetable peeling, I think. But it's much like, for example, a mushroom knife, again, which is a foraging knife. And so, yeah, it's good for foraging. But again, I got it because it's what Ed Calderon recommends as, 2 inches, which is under the majority of legal limits. Also easy to discard because it's cheap. I paid $8. And then he wants you to index it. Now, I can't remember if, again, I can't remember if it's blade in or blade out. Blade in or this or blade out that way. So this is less natural, although the downward stabbing is natural though. So I can't remember. I'm sorry if you guys know. Let me just comment or whatever. So let's What's this here? I love his drunken. That's right. Does he get drunk? He does drink a beer. He's so funny. The thing is, I like it because he gets passionate. And we live increasingly in a society that says you shouldn't be passionate, you shouldn't give a shit, you've got to be detached, disillusioned, cynical, just apathetic. And Doc Pete, he rails. I mean, he's like, what the hell, spice, he really went up on that spice thing, which I'm the opposite. I really like that spice thing because those capsules can be used for, I've already mentioned this, it can be used for a wide range of things. It's a good way of organizing spices for that matter. I think spices are important. They're antibacterial. They can be used medicinally. They can be used to make your food safer. And just for taste wise, if you're in a bushcraft situation or in a survival situation, morale is a huge immune system booster and community enhancer or whatever. he went nuts. And the stuff that's really justified is he goes off on the dead fish knives. He's like, here, he looks it up. He's like, look, it's that Chinese knife for $15 and they're claiming it's 100. He's like, give me a fucking break, which is pretty scandalous, So I'm not so sure about dead fish either. I didn't get the dead fish knife because I won that one from a guy from Video Addict, and I've won 2 from him thus far. It's fucking awesome, and both of them are awesome boxes. But his wife loved that dead fish knife, which was the huge cleaver knife, and I was like, that's fine with me. So I said, just swap it out with something that has micarta and sheath, and he sent me a really cool, I think, Lord and Field 440C with micarta handle. So much better than that big, huge cleaver dead fish knife, which I don't really need a cleaver knife. Not that I need a 75th bushcrafting fixed blade either with micarta handle. Way too many, but So, and then the Victorinox Tinker. So this is like my 8th Tinker. I don't know. I have a bunch of these. And I EDC it. I carry it. Yeah. So, again, pink, big recommendation. Whatchamacallit? They didn't offer this in pink. And I don't know if it exists in pink for Victorinox either. I did realize, though, just now looking them up, there's a black one, and I realized the black one might be better. It might be way better for concealing, especially if you're wearing a black belt. So I realized I should probably go ahead and order the black version of this because it's probably better for the purpose that I want. I got red because red's my new favorite color. And, South LA, the bloods run kind of deep. And I'm not going to wear blue. But anyway. Okay, so we're at only 13 minutes. Not too bad. Okay, so if there's nothing else, go ahead and tell me if there's anything you guys want to talk about. I talked about AI last time. I think they're, if they train AI, I think because they're so paranoid that AI will not have, a very viable moral sense. I think they're going to teach it a lot of ethics, and as a result, I think they're going to accidentally create a lot of accountability in our society that doesn't exist. So, that's cool. I think that's going to accidentally be a good thing. It's too bad that we as a species can't solve our moral problems, and that's truly unfortunate. So that's the AI thing, and then of course I always talk about the UAVs, which are the new. So they changed it from UFO to UAP, or to UAV, now to UAP. So unidentified aerial vehicle to now phenomenon. which makes sense because some of them are phenon mums. It's not quite clear if they're a vehicle, mostly just lights are seen and things like that. I'm out there, I'm out here set tripping. It's because I spend my best friend is in. You could look back way back in my old videos. I'm in Inglewood a lot, and it's all Bloods down there. And anyway, I was just down there several times a week, and so and Red's kind of my new thing. Actually, I have a lot of friends down there. I realized my other friends that I used to stay with, they were on Slauson, and yeah, it's all Blood. And I remember one night, one of them had gotten shot. I don't know if he died, and they were literally right in front of my friend's house, just like having a little meeting. And it was really sad to see that the head, the leader of the set. I mean, he looked really young. I mean, he was probably in his early 20s, which goes to show you the career of a gangster is not very long lived. To think like the leader of their set is just barely in his 20s. Probably the other kids were probably 20, 19, who knows? Probably even some teenagers in there. It's a young man's game, you know what I mean? You don't make it into your 30s or 40s, and if you do, you're in prison, or dead, or well, obviously you don't make it then. So anyway, yeah, it's a sad life, and yeah. I've mentioned this before. If you're interested in understanding the gang problem, really the best resource I personally know of is Stacy Peralta. I don't know if you guys were old school skaters, but way back in the day in the 80s, Powell Peralta was the top skateboarding company, and they made the best skateboards at that time. I don't know if they're still around, but Powell Peralta. But Stacy Peralta from Powell Peralta does a lot of nonprofit work, blah blah blah. I'm assuming he used his fortune for a lot of good things, and he's been continuing to make progressive documentaries. And the one I liked the best was Bastards of the Party, where he talks about how the FBI war on the Black Panthers is what led to our current street rank problem. So very interesting stuff, and he really goes into it. Very accurate stuff. I've been into the Skywalker Ranch show lately. Goondocks, Skinwalker. Excuse me. Did I say Skywalker? Skinwalker Ranch is fascinating. That journalist, whatever his name, I'm blanking on his name right now, but he has been covering that place for decades, and it's a huge scandal that and the government has been there. That was part of a government program. They've got the data on that place. That place is wild. Why certain locations are so rich for that kind of activity is beyond me, but it's intense. Let me look up that Skinwalker Ranch journalist. No. George Knapp, or probably George Knapp, but Knapp, it's spelled Knapp. George Knapp. He's awesome. He's been covering that story. He's got an entire room full of archives of interviews, etc. And a lot of the testimony are from like operators, okay? Because these were government contracts, and to hire security for the ranch, they hired like serious operators from like quite literally like SEAL Team 6, like Delta Force guys, like literally like hardcore tier 1 and tier 2 operators, and they tell stories, and they're like, listen, I'm that kind of guy. I'm an operator. I don't think anything about these frou-frou, UFOs, ghosts. Give me a break. They're like, but after a while, I just got used to it. I was like, oh yeah, probably a UFO. Like, cause we just see that shit all the time, like the craziest shit. So, these are the type of guys that are not prone to delusion, that aren't hippie crunchy, like, ew, I hope the UFOs and the aliens will save us, and they're just not, and they're certainly not into, scams or manufacturing hype for the sake of entertainment. These guys are just so serious. They don't play that kind of game. They're like you and me. They're about integrity. they're not going to sell out for a couple bucks just to get some hype going on some, entertainment project. Oh, bro, I'm telling you, Skinwalker Ranch is so wild off the hook. And then, if you listen to the disinformation campaigns against it, again, the recent congressional testimony, he talks about the 80-year government program to suppress and or sabotage all of this information. And so if you look at the knee-jerk disinformation campaign against Skinwalker Ranch, oh, he's a billionaire and it's his project to create an amusement park. That may be true, but it doesn't change the fact that these things are observed and recorded in evidence. So, and again, the leaked videos from the Pentagon, from like the Navy pilots and stuff, you got to understand what triangulation means in terms of military. I mean, we're seeing these things simultaneously from multiple radar sources, multiple UV cameras, eyewitness sighting. I mean, these things are evidenced. I mean, we know they are there. They're anti-gravity technique. The technology they're employing defies our limitations of space-time. So clearly, they've got some sort of gravity drive, what we call a warp drive, to be able to move in that way at the angles that and the speed and the absence of acceleration curves. There's no other explanation for it. Go ahead. Look at those videos. Look at the speed. Look at the absence of an acceleration curve, right? This is not combustion flight. This is some sort of super high energy, a gravity changing, space-time warping locomotion. You can't even call it locomotion. It's the opposite of locomotion, because the object is not moving. It's bending space-time around it and filling that void, if you will, right? So if you create a depression in space-time, much as our planet does, or all planets, all celestial bodies, warp space-time around them through gravity, right? They're so massive that they're able to actually create a relatively significant gravity wave. They are waves. Gravity is waves. We now know gravity is waves. And all objects with mass create some gravity. It's just that gravity is such a weak force, right? You've got strong forces and weak forces. Gravity is a weak force. I produce gravity. This cup produces gravity. It's utterly minuscule. Dilithium crystals? Okay. Is that what they're called? Yeah. There's another. Oh, is that the one that's that element X or whatever? It's like 150 on the chart or something. It's like number 150 on the periodic table. But yeah, it's very fascinating. And Bob Lazar's speculation is, he's like, what if these alien planet is in a dual star system where you revolve around multiple suns, like two suns. He's like, maybe their gravity is so dense that these elements occur naturally. Like you could literally just mine them. We finally have created them, but for a millisecond. CERN did. Element 115. So, hey, Goondog, good for you. You know your shit too, bro. This shit was considered like conspiracy theory 2 seconds ago. Now everyone's like doing their homework, like, oh, I didn't know this shit was real. It's very real. Element 115, and they have finally created it, if I'm not mistaken. They have CERN has finally created element 115. So, hey, man, dilithium crystal. And if you listen to these guys doing these investigations, they're saying these might not. The recent whistleblower has been saying that they're non-Earth origin or whatever, but yeah, the technology is, but you don't know that these aren't private corporations. There's a lot of indication that private corporations have been being given this by the government. So when they go to a crash site, yes, we have confirmed there are crash site investigation teams. So they're getting these crash site investigation teams, taking that material, and they're giving it to private corporations. And so it would appear as though they have their hands on dilithium crystal already, and I think they're reverse engineering their own vehicles. So not all of these are extraterrestrial in origin. Clearly, the technology is, and it would assume the crystals themselves are, unless once again maybe we figured out a way to also create our own dilithium crystals with maybe tremendous pressure, maybe tremendous gravity. I don't know. And obviously tremendous amounts of energy, which, if with nuclear technology, I can't imagine the energy sources is out of reach for us. So I've seen Lazar's interviews and he seems legit, or really, really good liar. Yeah, that's okay. So that's the thing with Lazar. Okay, there's a lot of debate. There's legit people who are like, he's kind of. But if you watch the most recent guy who made the documentary on him, he has since confirmed most of the criticisms. For example, people are like, oh, he didn't really go to Caltech, he didn't really go to MIT, and then so and so didn't confirm it. But since then, there have been corroborations of all of the above. One of the big things is he's like, oh, there was this thing that would read your bones as a security measure to get in to identify you. And for a long time, that was one of the biggest criticisms. And since then, the internet, it's all in all its wisdom, have dug it up, and they're like, here's a picture of it. And they were like, it was only there for a couple of years. So how would Lazar know that, that it was only there for a couple of years, and someone dug up the actual thing, and he's like, that's exactly what I saw. So and you're right. When you see Bob Lazar, you really have to ask yourself, is this the type of guy and the type of personality that becomes really good at lying? Right? And it's just, there's a lot that doesn't make, if you see like a smooth talking huckster like me, making up a good old tale, then you might be like, this guy might just be having, he's just having a piss, mate. He's just messing with you. I could be doing it for a comedy routine or parody, or satire, or a buck. Fuck, give me 10 grand. I will lie for you. You know what I mean? But again, Bob Lazar just does not seem like one of those guys who has any of that kind of hucksterism or shystericity. He's a geek. He's a science geek. Those guys are like partially Asperger's. They don't get that whole concept of like make up a lie for the sake of lying or attention or whatever fucking thing. There's just too much that's realistic. And the dead fucking giveaway is he talks about element 115 in that documentary, and then suddenly there's a federal raid on his place. If he's a con artist, if he's lying, why the fuck would the federal fucking... I've always said this, okay? I'm not saying that the feds are not corrupt or are fascist organizations. I'm not saying any of that, okay? But if the feds are on you, you're fucking up. I mean, I knew a cat who was being investigated by the FBI, okay? You got to be doing some fucked up shit to get the feds on your case, okay? You are on another level if the feds are so big. They're such a huge institution. To get them to move, you fucked up, okay? You are on some fucking James Bond ass shit, okay? And for them to show up in force the way they did, like a huge TAC team showed up and searched the shit out of this place. They were like, you motherfucker, because he basically admitted on camera, he's like, I might have taken some of element 115 and docketed it. I might have. And they showed up right away. And the thing is, they must have been observing. They were tapping him or something. They were listening because the documentary hadn't been released yet. He gave the interview, and then they showed up. They've been listening and watching him for fucking ever. Again, the whistleblower said there's an 80-year campaign. This is a part of that campaign where they watch whistleblowers. They look. And Bob Lazar is one of the OG whistleblowers. In fact, I didn't realize until much, much later after I found out about Bob Lazar. He is the source of why we even know about Area 51. right? He's the one that started the whole Area 51 craze. Yeah, that exactly. That's a good point. Yeah, I mean, a guy who's as shy as him, who's as camera shy and private as he is, and he doesn't like giving interviews. He's just like, I'm done with this. Leave me the fuck alone. But don't call me a liar. I'm not a fucking liar. I know what I did. I know what I saw. You know, I'm a fucking scientist. You know what I mean? Don't doubt me. I know what I saw. Quit playing. And he doesn't want to do any of this. He does not have that. Look, I would love the attention. I'd be like, shit, 15 minutes of fame, give it to me, you know? But he is not that kind. He is not that type. And again, for me, the additional corroboration is the fact that I myself have seen one. I saw its movements long before I knew who Bob Lazar was. I only found out about Bob Lazar recently, long before I knew how UFOs moved. Long before I knew about any of that stuff, I saw it move, just like the UAPs that the Navy released. So I know I saw the same thing, and once again, it was over a decommissioned helicopter base. Okay, it fits the profile. It fits the profile. It's a cliche. If anything, I saw a cliche. And again, I'm not, even at the time, I'm like, look, I don't know that it's alien, but it's a UFO. You know, it could be our technology. We just don't know yet. Okay, so I've gone on yet another rant. 30 minutes. So we're at 30 minutes. If there's nothing else, I'll check off. But you know, leave me a comment if you want me to cover anything in particular. I'm still upset about the whole Russia-Ukraine thing. Ukraine, you know, again, Ukraine and Russia have a closer relationship than we have with Canada. We've been to war with Canada, you know what I mean? And yet, if Canada, you know, we're doing exercises with China on our border and receiving $600 million in military, you think we wouldn't bomb them to oblivion? Or we would just annex them, just like that. We just annex them. It'd be over. You know? It's Russia does not have the geographic option of allowing an independent, militarily independent Ukraine. You know, if Ukraine wants to abrogate that trust, you can't wonder why they get invaded. I'm not supporting either side of this. I'm just saying Ukraine fucked up big time. So yeah, I mean, if there's nothing else, I'm gonna head out. Yeah, it's time for me to go. And I got to reach out to this piece of shit again. I mean, these businessmen are like, they're crooks. I've always said this. If you want to understand modern capitalism and U.S. empire and U.S. foreign policy, study how mafias work. Study how organized crime works. I think that Goodfellas and Casino is a better primer for understanding U.S. policy than, you know, watching some gung-ho, patriotic, rah-rah type of thing. You've got to understand what duplicity looks like. You know, right now, what the U.S. is doing with Taiwan and China, I mean, I don't know if you know, the U.S. has been extremely aggressive over there. Now, our propaganda machinery will make it sound as if China's being aggressive. I am not forgiving China. I do not like the Chinese. I don't agree with what they're doing, but their artificial islands, all of that stuff, their South China Sea claims, ridiculous. I'm against all of that. That goes without saying. But the U.S. is the aggressor. We've encircled them with bases. We're constantly violating that. You got to remember, the U.S. on the regular violates almost everybody's airspace. That is by definition an act of war, and we do it on the regular. And when it's a lot like the fake Tonkin thing, you know, when we go into their waters and then they're like, yeah, you can't do that. We're like, oh, we were attacked. In fact, the Mexican-American War, you know, we cross over into Mexico and they say they attacked us. We declare war. You know what I mean? So you set your military into their country. Same with Panama in 1989. You know, Bush was convicted of war crimes. Bush won. was convicted of war crimes. And so 89 happened, I think, in 1990 or 91. First time a sitting president was convicted of war crimes. He sent the military in there. They set up illegal roadblocks all over Panama. And when shooting broke, when they got shot at, we were attacked. We got to invade. It's fucking ridiculous. Oh, fuck. That's how mafias work. That's how criminal enterprises work. If you're going to commit a crime abroad, you're going to have to follow the criminal playbook. This is not statecraft. Insofar as if you want to say all of statecraft, it's basically just criminality. So. Anyway, rant over. I think. Yo, 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 yo. Morena Tropicana. Yo, yo, yo. 35. Okay. Bye, everybody. See ya. Have a good day. Try to keep cool. Gotta go, man. Have a good day. Bah.